Hey everyone, and welcome to Mom and Me Unfiltered, the podcast where we keep it real, raw, and relatable. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Zuni, and we're here to share unfiltered conversations about life, love, family, and everything in between. Nothing is off limits, from generational differences to parenting perspectives. We're diving deep, we're laughing loud, and we're learning as we go.
So let's grab a cup of coffee, let's get comfy, and let's get into today's episode.
Today's episode, we will be discussing forgiveness versus holding grudges. Holding grudges. Let's talk about it. So, I feel that it depends on the situation, on whether you hold a grudge or whether you forgive. What do you think?
I think,
Do you think it depends on
yeah,
the situation?
yeah, I think it depends on the situation because, like, if it's something small, I'm not gonna get mad at that. I'm just gonna forgive it because it's something small. It wasn't anything major, and no feelings were hurt, so why should I hold a grudge on that? But if it's something big and you hurt me real bad, then I understand holding a grudge because you hurt me. You practically attacked me.
Okay. So, I don't know how I feel when it comes to, because I wouldn't say it's holding a grudge on certain things and certain decisions that I make. I feel like it's more of preserving my peace than holding a grudge.
Yeah, I can agree on that because you, if someone from your past that messed up, interacts with you, you'll keep them at a distance, but at least you'll communicate in a polite manner. Like, I know for a fact that if my father were here, you would be civil. You wouldn't even try to get into a fight with him.
Would I be civil?
Well, no. Let me change that. um, I know if it were a neighbor
Mm-hmm.
and the next door neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
then you'd be civil because
It's a neighbor, and you got to keep the peace because you got to see the person every day. And it's like if you create friction,
yeah,
it just makes things spiral out of control and things get worse instead of getting better. So it's better to just at certain, you know, it depends on the certain situations. You decide to keep things civil. But yeah, I could say I could hold a grudge. Yeah, I could say I could hold a grudge. I could definitely hold a grudge. And I'm guessing I had to sit here and, sit with it for a minute and really,
yeah.
really marinate and be like, okay, I think I agree that it depends on the situation because there have been situations in my life where, like you said, I try to be civil, I try to keep the peace, and I try to, find different ways of maneuvering certain situations. But you can't control what other people do, and you can't control how other people are going to react. So when you deal with a situation for so long that it's like years and years of the same crap that you're dealing with, and you're like, you know what, I'm at my wit's end. I'm like, this is not going anywhere. It's like These people need to effing go to HE double hockey sticks. And, you're at your breaking point where you're like, you know what, F these people. You're like, F these people. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done with trying to, be civil or fix things. So I guess it depends on the people and it depends on the situation.
I that sentiment is something that I also agree with because of the fact that if it's my father, I don't want to talk to him.
But
And I'm
that's
like,
different. Like,
and I've been hurt by him so
right, but
many
that's
times. So
different.
it's so
Yeah, but it's different. It's very
true.
different because it's your father. It's different. Like you don't want to deal with him, so
Mm-hmm.
you're avoiding. So it's very different to holding a. Well, yeah, no, it's not actually. You're kind of holding a grudge, but it's kind of different because yes, he hurt you, but that's your father, and you still have love for him. But
True.
you're kind of still holding on to grudges of things that have happened in the past, and you feel like he's not changing and he's not gonna get better. So I'm kind of like stuck with that one right there because it's like yes and no to me when it comes to like that situation.
But I've also found that I'm incredibly forgiving too, which is
Incredibly
well,
forgiving,
not incredibly because I
incredibly
can be
forgiving, or just forgiving.
just forgiving
Okay,
because I wouldn't say incredibly because that means I forgive overall, but
exactly.
um like the situation between me and my siblings, we weren't talking at one point and now I'm talking to my older sister. And I actually believe that it's been good for both of us because I have someone to talk to now that I can talk to about certain issues.
Right, but you can say you talked to her and you've somewhat forgiven her, but I don't think you've fully forgiven her just yet. I don't think that the forgiveness is completely there. I think there's still some things that have to be worked through
Mm-hmm.
between you and her, and there's still building that needs to be done because a lot of damage was done, a lot of hurt was caused, and the trust was definitely um, shattered.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something that, just because you're speaking to her now, you say, yeah, I forgave her. But if you're being completely honest with yourself, did you fully forgive her?
No, I didn't fully forgive her, but and yeah, I still feel this sort of distance in our relationship, but I've noticed it's been getting closer as we continue to build on our relationship.
But that's important too because you're willing to continue to work towards, being able to fully forgive her. So that also, lets you know that yes, I am capable of
Mm-hmm.
forgiving and not completely holding a grudge and forgiving because holding a grudge and forgiving sometimes isn't that just black and white, and it's
Yeah.
not always just that simple.
Yeah.
And the reason I ask you that about whether you fully forgave her is because I'm in the same boat as you. I haven't fully forgiven her, and I know that for myself, and I know that in my heart. I want to forgive her completely, but that's going to take work and
Yeah.
that's going to take time. And the good thing there is that it's not holding a grudge because when you begin to forgive someone, you're not holding on to that grudge. You're just holding on to the fact that can I fully and really trust this person now because this person betrayed me. This person hurt me. this person did things that I didn't expect them to do. And they reacted in a way that, or they behaved in a way that was unfamiliar to me that I never saw coming. So I'm right there with you. And the thing that's also something you have to work through and understand is that everything isn't just black and white, and forgiveness and grudges aren't just black and white. There's people that you hold grudges on, you just don't like them because they're assholes and they're just assholes, and you can hold grudges on them for like forever because they're assholes and they're not going to change and there's no forgiveness there.
Mm-hmm.
But at least understanding your feelings and understanding the fact that those things aren't just black and white and that you can work through them is also a good thing, is a positive thing. I know for a fact I could hold a grudge. I can so hold a grudge that it's crazy, but I'm a Taurus. I'm a bull. I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn as hell, and that's okay. As long as I know myself in that way and I know what I tolerate and what I don't tolerate, I always tell people in advance, like when we become friends or we're in relationships, I let everybody know. I warn people in advance before things get to a point where there's no coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, people don't believe me, they don't listen to me, and next thing you know, everything falls apart, and then I have to show them who I really am.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of people, I guess they think that they've done certain things to other people and other people tolerate it and other people are okay with it, and then they come to do it to someone else. That's like
Yeah.
not the same and not as forgiving, and that holds grudges, and then they're shocked when they get a different reaction.
But you know that saying, you're always gonna meet the bigger person.
Yeah, you're always gonna meet that one person that's not gonna tolerate all the bull crap that you're putting out there. And
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, you find out who people really are, and then you're shocked that someone's holding a grudge, against you, or that someone doesn't want to deal with you. But I say I can be forgiving because, like I said, I know I'm stubborn. I'm a very stubborn person. But I do not paint myself out to be something that I'm not to people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna go out there and pretend that I'm your best friend in the whole wide world and I'm gonna be so sweet to you and I'm gonna do everything you want to do and I'm gonna do everything you want me to do. No. I believe in being upfront and honest with people about who I am and how I am and what I tolerate and what I will not tolerate. And when people step over those boundaries and step over those lines that I've crossed, that's where it gets to a point where I say, you know what? I don't need to deal with you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not respecting me as a friend or as a person. You're not respecting my boundaries, and you're treating me in a certain way, or you're doing certain things that are disrespectful to me. And I'm not okay with that.
Yeah. Everyone deserves to have their boundaries respected. And who knows what you're doing when you're crossing those boundaries? You could be severely hurting the person that you're friends with, or
Mm-hmm.
even having a relationship with that person. And that's what causes so many friendships to break, because
I just thought of something.
what
That would you be able to forgive someone that you fought with and they beat you up? Would you be, would you be able to forgive someone?
Is this in?
No, just in general. Just if you have a disagreement with a friend, right?
Uh-huh.
And you get into a dispute and it becomes physical, and this person beats you up. Like you didn't beat them up, they beat you up. Would you be able to forgive that person?
First of all, I would have to ask, what do you mean by beat me up? Like beat me up, like beat me up black and blue,
Okay.
or
Let's
just a slap?
not just a slap. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it both ways. You get into a fight with someone, it's not just a slap. They beat you up, but they don't beat you up bad. They just beat you up. Like they win the fight. That's what I mean. Like they win the fight. They smack you around a bit, and you lost the fight. That's it. Like you're both tired. You both don't want to hit each other no more. But she got her hits in, and she beat you. Do you forgive that person?
First of all, what the heck is the argument about for it to get that bad?
I don't know. Just it's just a
But
question.
okay, if the argument was bad and it led, okay, well, the argument had to have gotten bad, so for it to lead to physical violence. So no,
No.
no.
So if the argument became something physical, you would not be able to forgive that person if they beat you up.
Yeah, because there's no reason for it to have devolved into violence like
Oh,
that.
okay, wait a minute.
Oh my
So,
god.
so what if you beat her up? If the tables were turned and you beat her up, would you be able to forgive this person?
No. And they shouldn't forgive me
Well,
either.
I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't, kind of a if I win or if you win.
No.
Depending on the
It's
situation.
effed up either way.
Okay, so either way, if it turns into a physical fight, it's not something that's forgivable in your
Exactly.
eyes.
That's abuse practically.
Okay.
I'm like, no person in any relationship should be raising their hand to their friend, their partner, anything like that.
So that's for you that you would hold the grudge. You would be like, nah, like,
Yeah.
I'm holding a grudge on that. Like you put your hands on me.
Yeah. Because if you're putting your hands on me, then you're likely to do it again, and I don't want that.
Mm.
I don't agree with abuse of any kind in any relationship.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's interesting that you say that. Well, I think maybe it's also the maturity because maybe when you're younger, you think differently about grudges and about friendships and about stuff like that. And if you argue with a friend and it turns, physical, it's not a big deal. You're like, you forgive and you're like, okay, we're friends again.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you're an adult, you feel that you're more mature and that you have a different mentality that you should be able to use your words
Yeah.
to resolve any issue, that it shouldn't become something that's physical.
Mm-hmm.
Which I agree. I agree with that 100%. And I think that's a very positive and mature response that that you gave, because some people would say, well, if I win, I won't hold a grudge, but if they win, I'm going to hold a grudge. And for you, it's more of it shouldn't have become something physical in the first place, because
Yeah.
I've always thought that to myself in a lot of different things that I've seen, is that why people are not able to resolve their differences with their words. Like, why does it have to become
Yeah.
something physical? Like, what is this bubbling anger that people feel that they just allow it to just burst out and have that reaction?
I don't know, but I just know that I've felt it before, and yeah, I've hit someone and did become friends afterward, and or our friendship evolved afterward. But I'm like, we shouldn't have even been touching each other in that way because I know for a fact that if it were done vice versa to me, I wouldn't want to be friends with someone that puts their hands on me.
Right. But again, you're thinking differently as an adult now, which is good. You're thinking more maturely. When you're younger, you're not thinking these things. When you're younger, your feelings, you don't even understand your feelings when you're young.
Yeah.
You're evolving and trying to grasp at what you're feeling and why you're going through these changes and why you're feeling certain things that you're feeling. So it's understandable, for a younger person that's not matured yet to think violence first,
Mm-hmm.
or just to think, you know, to become physical with someone else because they've angered them.
Yeah.
But I also believe that traumatic experiences in your life play a major part in how people react
Yeah.
because your emotions are just all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
that you just tend to allow yourself to react, and everything just feels extra. Kind of like it doesn't feel like it's just a minor disagreement. It feels like it's something so major
You're triggered.
that, right,
Yeah, you're
it's
triggered.
something so major that you just feel like you're gonna explode if
Yeah.
you don't like have a reaction instead of just saying what it is you're feeling or saying what it is that you want to say.
Yeah, and I think that was also something that has happened with, well, you've seen these shows like where they resolve their issues on TV and they get into a physical altercation. And I'm like, why are they fighting? They're there to resolve their issues. Why are they fighting? So I never really got that until like now in my older days or older years that I'm able to understand that people have trauma and trauma can take a situation that's completely small and turn it into something big because they're being triggered by something that happened in their past.
Right. And then that's when it crosses a line that you're allowing yourself to be triggered, that you cross the line to do something that's so unforgivable that someone is going to hold a grudge because they're going to say, like, you crossed that line. You crossed the line in the sand that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of taking a hold of your emotions, you did something that I can't see myself forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the times when you have friendships and you have relationships, like you hold those things dear. Like people don't understand. It's like when you tell someone that you love them, whether it's a partner or it's a friend, you're really telling them that you love them. You're not saying that
Yeah.
just to say it. You're not saying that to them because you don't mean it. You're saying it to them because you consider them a big part of your life and you do have love for them.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that if they do something that's so unforgivable to you, that love just dies and you're like, I can't
Yeah.
forgive you. I can't deal with you. I can't have you in my life because you did something to me that I'm going to hold on to forever. And even if you tell the person, yeah, I forgive you, you're partially forgiving them because you're doing it for your own sanity. And you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, for myself, I have to forgive you in a way. And I guess that's where the saying goes where people say, I'll forgive, but I can't forget.
Yeah.
And it's like, I forgive you, but I don't want that life anymore. I forgive you,
Yeah.
and it happened, but I'm not going to forget that it happened. And it doesn't mean that I want you back in my life. It doesn't mean that I want that same relationship anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that kind of means you're holding a grudge. Because, like I said, that's so like black and white, but then not. Because it's like,
Yeah.
so even I'm confused with this whole like holding grudges and forgiving thing.
For me, I don't like to hold grudges because for me it's not healthy to hold grudges. But at the same time, I like to keep my boundaries. And I would like for you to know that I'm keeping you at a certain distance for my own sanity, for your own sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel it's best if we keep it civil. I'm willing to be civil with people who wrong me. But if you severely mess up, then I don't want you.
Okay, so to fully understand this as a whole, I need to like search. And what I'm seeing is holding a grudge is the persistent harboring of anger, bitterness, or resentment towards someone. So, okay, long after perceived wrongdoing or has occurred. So, if you're holding on to, so it means if you're holding on to the anger. So it's not that difficult, I guess. It's just kind of like, are you still angry about the situation? Or are you not angry about the situation? Kind of.
Yeah. Are you angry about the situation?
I get angry about a lot of situations. So, like I said, I know that I hold grudges. I know that I hold on to that anger, but it's not to everyone, and it's only to certain situations. Like the situation that happened with your brother and your sister. I don't think that anger is ever going to go away.
Yeah.
Like that's something, and that's anger that I'm probably going to hold on to forever, or that's something that's eventually going to get resolved once your sister and my relationship continue to get better and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe eventually that will go away, but like I said, it depends on the situation. With my exes, am I angry at my exes? I don't know. I'm not angry at them, so I'm not holding on to resentment for them because I don't care. So I guess that's the difference. Where with my exes, I'm not holding on to any anger because I couldn't care less what they're doing. I couldn't care less what's going on with any of them. But when it comes to other situations that happen, am I holding on to anger? Am I holding grudges? Yes. To certain people, yes. To certain, and this is crazy, like to certain previous employers where things have happened,
Yeah.
um, I don't care. But the last one, that one, I hold a grudge to because of the surrounding things that happened when
Yeah.
it came to your brother. Like your brother
Yeah.
was a big piece of that puzzle, and because of that, I will probably hold resentment towards that employer for a long time, or people at
Mm-hmm.
that employer for a long time.
And I'm the same. I'm angry at my brother and sister too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that down the line with with everything that's as every interaction that we have is getting better. But but with my dad, that's also like something that I think I hold more of a grudge to because he's hurt me the most with everything he's done. And
So
I don't think I'll ever want to like
you're still angry. Like you
yeah.
still hold resentment and anger towards that situation.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll ever be some way that you can forgive him? Or do you or would you be open to forgiving him for yourself and then working towards forgiving him down the line in some way?
I think that eventually I will learn to forgive him for my own self because I'd rather do it for my own sanity rather than anyone else's because I'm not the type of person that likes to hold on to anger. So I will eventually get around to doing some healing on that part so that I could forgive.
So, do you agree that when people say holding on to the anger like hurts you and affects you in a negative way?
Yes. I think that holding on to
Yes.
yes, holding on to anger of any sort is I feel unhealthy because that means you have something holding you down.
Right. So, but you say that, but you're still doing it. Like you're still holding on to the anger.
Yeah.
And it's like you need to do something to relieve that in order to
Yeah.
move forward. So that's something you need to work towards.
Yeah.
And sooner than later because you don't want that to consume you and you
Yeah.
don't want that to continue to eat you up and eat at you.
Yeah. Because I feel like if I don't resolve that issue, then I won't ever be able to move on and be the person I need to be.
Do you think that you would be able to like dial your dad's number and be like, "Hey, I need to talk and you need to listen"? Like would you be able to do something like that, to be strong enough to say like, "You know what? I'm going to give this man a call. I'm going to tell him once he picks up the phone that he needs to listen, and if he doesn't listen, I'm just going to hang up the phone." Would you be open to doing something like that?
It's funny that you just said that because I was thinking about that earlier on in the day. And I was like, eventually I'll have the strength to tell him how I feel and what he's put me through. And eventually I have my say. So that's something I truly believe that I will have the strength to do later down the line.
But is that something that you want to do down the line? It's not something that you
Yes.
have to do, but it's something that you would want to do.
Yes.
And do you think that would help you?
Yeah. Because then he knows what he's done.
Well, it's not that he knows what he's done, it's he'll know how you feel.
Yeah.
And he'll hear it directly from you
Mm-hmm.
why it is that you are behaving the way you are towards him now and why you have distanced yourself from him. Because at this point, him not hearing from you, he's coming to his own conclusions in his head.
Yeah.
About things.
And I'd rather him know what he's done to make me feel the way I feel rather than having him have these little scenarios in his head and thinking of like, oh, it's this person's fault, this other person's fault. No, I want him to know why I'm like this with him.
Well, that's a good thing, and I'm glad to hear that you would take that step to, making that phone call. Because sometimes what helps us is just being heard and just being able to tell the person that hurt us or that did something that wronged us in some way, that they hear it from us, that we want to be able to like speak it out, but not just speak it out, but speak it to them. And in certain scenarios, it doesn't always turn out in a positive way because sometimes the person just doesn't want to hear it. Like they don't want to look at themselves in the mirror, so sometimes it's kind of hard. Like
Yeah.
when I tried to talk to my mother,
Yeah.
like that was like talking to a wall because she feels like she didn't do anything wrong, never did anything wrong. She feels like she's been a great mother,
Hmm.
best mother ever, and she just doesn't want to hear it.
Yep.
She doesn't want to hear anything. And even in the times where I have been able to tell her little things here and there, there's always an excuse. It's never like, oh, I'm sorry, that should have never happened. It's
Hmm.
always some type of excuse as to why she did certain things and why she made those decisions, which is okay. Like, people have a right to, defend themselves
Yeah.
and, speak up for themselves and say you know, say the story however they feel that it went, because the way I paint a picture is not going to be the same way she paints a picture.
Hmm.
And the same way you paint a picture is not going to be the same way your dad paints a picture. So he may not see your picture the same way, but at least you'll take the initiative to try. Just like I
Yeah.
did, I took the initiative to try to, speak my piece and say, you know, what I wanted to say, and that didn't work out. But I don't feel like I have anger towards like my mom. Like I'm angry about the photo still.
Hmm.
That one photo that's a one of a kind that
Yeah.
your brother's in as a baby, 6 months old. Like that picture is irreplaceable. So not being able to get that photo back has really had me in a tailspin ever since. But you know, there is a higher power,
Hmm.
and when people do bad things, things come back to them.
Yeah.
And you don't wish anything bad on anyone, but when you do things that you shouldn't be doing to other people, to harm them, to hurt them in any way, shape, or form, it always comes back to you.
Yep.
So it's only a matter of time
Hmm.
before that situation comes to a head. At least I believe that, because I know I've seen a lot of things.
Same.
I've seen a lot of things
I've
happen. I've seen a lot of.
We've seen some.
Yes, yes, yes. We've seen some shit. We've seen some shit. We've seen some shit happen. And when people say, just to sit back and watch and wait for things to happen, that's exactly what happens.
Hmm.
And you can't rush. You can't rush certain things from happening,
Yeah, you just gotta let the Lord do His work.
right? And you gotta let people set their own traps. I guess that's what it is. People set their own traps for themselves.
Yep.
But I do admit that I hold grudges for people that hurt me. Do I forgive? Not always 100%. Is it healthy not to forgive people 100%? They say that it's not, but if I don't sit here and dwell on it, I don't think it's going to affect me, because I'm not sitting here dwelling on how people wronged me or thinking about how people pissed me off, or whatever grudge is happening with whatever person, because I wouldn't have a life. I'm not
Hmm.
sitting here thinking about being angry. I'm not sitting here thinking about anyone else. I'm sitting here thinking about, what I'm gonna cook later on. I'm thinking about what I'm gonna cook tomorrow. I'm thinking about what I'm gonna have for breakfast. I'm thinking about when I'm gonna change my curtains and laundry and all these other things.
Yeah.
There's not enough time in the day to think about other people. So I'm not sitting here worried about any grudges and any anger that I have towards anyone because I don't think at the end of the day that it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like people aren't worth the time of day to waste because you have
Yeah.
better things to do with your time and you have
Yeah.
other things to do with your time. So I'm not going to sit here and dwell on anyone.
Yeah, and it's a waste of energy
Right.
too because you're wasting it dwelling on all these other people, but you could be spending your time doing something else.
Doing something productive or doing something for yourself, doing some self-care or
Yeah.
doing something that you actually like or want to do. But I'm not sitting here thinking about people that I'm angry at. I don't think I care that much anymore. I think you evolve with age and with time. And when you're young, everything bothers you. And as you get older, you just don't want to be bothered. So it's different. It's like everything bothers you when you're young, and as you get older, you just don't want to be
Yeah.
bothered.
I think it's because when you're young, it's like you're more sensitive to your emotions and you haven't built up that tough skin.
Tolerance?
No, the tough skin, like
Yeah, because people would tell you, call you a name or say anything when you're young, and it's like you're crying because someone called you a
well, you're
name.
punching them in the face.
Right, because you're like sticks and stones, but now as you're older, someone calls you a name, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, you become unbothered because it's like water off a duck's back.
Right, because
Mhm.
it's funny. Someone did that to me a few years ago. They said something to me that they thought that would affect me, and it really didn't. It really didn't affect me. I'm not gonna get into what it was right now,
Oh,
but someone said something to me
okay.
a few years ago that they thought was gonna affect me in a negative way and make me like get all in my feelings and cause a like
Yeah.
big emotional response. And I was like, okay.
Oh wait, I think
I
I
just
remember this. I think
I
I
was
remember
just like,
this
okay. I just okay.
because this was years ago, so I'm like,
Right. So it
it's
was a few years ago. And I was just like, okay. And I said nothing. I said nothing. Why? Because it doesn't matter what that person said. I'm not going to get upset because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say hurtful things or things that are going to cause a reaction. And I'm not going to give someone the reaction. I'm not going to give them what they want. I'm not going
yeah.
to give you the reaction. I'm not going to give you what you want. I am just going to sit here in my peace and watch you make a fool of yourself. You want to blow up and have a cow and act like a fool? You go right ahead. I'm going to watch. That's all I'm going to do.
Yep.
But, you know, it comes with age, it comes with time. You change and you evolve as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
And younger folk won't see it now, but as they get older and they realize, they're like, wow, she was right. When you get older, you just don't care. You just don't want to be bothered. You just want to be left alone. You don't care what people do and say.
It's like that one saying, behold the F's I give.
That is perfect right there. And I have said my piece. I'm going to leave it there.
I'm gonna leave it there too
And we will see everyone where?
in the next one.